With the debate again coming up for a uniform civil code in the country, I have with me former Solicitor General, the King's Counsel, and one of the topmost legal minds of the country, Mr. Harish Salve. So welcome to CNN News 18. So there's a debate going on whether there should be a uniform civil code, there should not be a uniform civil code. First, your views.
I have always personally been a votary for the introduction of a uniform civil code. And basically what the uniform civil code means, and people are saying we don't know what it will be, I think it's pretty simple. We have the Special Marriage Act, you have the Indian Succession Act. This is the law of marriage and divorce. It will apply to all Indians irrespective of caste, creed or color. Does it affect anybody's religion? It doesn't, because it only gives you a choice of secular laws which you want to follow. If you want to follow your religion, you're welcome to. Only thing is the compulsion today that if you have got married by Hindu custom, or if you're born in a Hindu family, or if you're in a Muslim family, or if you're born to Muslim parents who will be governed by Muslim law, customary law, Indian law, all this will go away. You will have a choice of deciding which law applies to you.
So another question that comes up is, and many are opposing a uniform civil code in the country, is saying that it would be phobic to the minority, especially the Muslim girls and boys.
So let's test it. Why will it be bad for Muslim girls? Let's test it. What choice does it give them? It gives them the choice if they want. Notwithstanding Muslim law, for example, the notion of a woman suing for divorce is alien to Muslim law. An Indian Muslim girl, if she says this marriage is intolerable and I need a divorce, she can go to a court and get a divorce. Now, is that a law which is debilitating, or is that a law which is empowering? What it does is it removes the level of control. But if a girl is a devout Muslim and says, however bad my marriage is, I will follow the religious edict and not divorce my husband, that's her choice. The point is, this is giving choices. This is not taking away anything. This is giving choices. Yes, it takes away the control which religion has over people.
So the Law Commission, the previous Law Commission, the 121st Law Commission, had suggested that though a uniform civil code is something that is a really nice thing, but at the same point of time, it's not the right time to implement it. Do you think that things have changed so far?
Time is a matter which is for personally speaking. Whether or not it should be introduced because there will be political or social unrest is a matter for the government of the day and for Parliament to decide. Does a law call for reform or does it not call for reform is for the Law Commission. The Law Commission said this calls for reform, but said don't do it. Now don't do it is really not. If you said don't do it because it will be bad for the evolution of Indian law, I understand.
Do you believe that bringing out a law like a uniform civil code could actually solve problems like love jihad or girls being married off at very early age?
See, there again, this love jihad is something which I don't understand. If you're talking of girls being misled into marrying Muslim boys, that has nothing to do with the civil code. That's outright criminality. Okay, that has nothing to do with but it will definitely create a situation where if a girl says, I have been misled into marrying somebody, she will have the option of a divorce.
So another thing that comes up is that, the Law Commission is invited for views from the public for a month's time. Do you think that since it's a topic that is a wide-ranging topic, and since we are a diverse country with diverse cultures happening, is this time too less to invite public views?
It's for the Law Commission. If they receive sufficient number of responses which they feel is representative of the length and breadth of the... See, Law Commission doesn't expect 100 million out of 1.4 billion people to reply. Law Commission is an expert body. You would expect organizations who would go to lawyers or who would express their view and who have the wherewithal to articulate themselves on an issue of this complexity. So I don't think that's a short time, but it's for the Law Commission to decide whether 30 days is enough or 60 days is enough or 90 days is enough.
And since the matter is already before the Parliamentary Committee for Law and Justice also, and they have also invited views from the Department of Legislature, is it, and it is just a question that, in a country that's so diverse as ours, where there are multiple cultures, multiple religions, and not only, and in fact multiple faiths as well, so is there a possibility that this kind of a law could strengthen the democracy and could strengthen the diversity and bring in a unity?
See, ultimately, this is my personal view, ultimately removing all kinds of state discrimination, affirmative or negative, especially these kind of discrimination based, which empowers one group of people to impose their will on another group of people, will always strengthen democracy. Why do I say that? When you say you must follow, you have an option of a uniform civil code, all citizens will have the same right of inheritance. It's interesting, and you can check this for yourself. If you Google inheritance by Muslims in the UK, you will hit very interesting websites. It says you can make a Sharia compliant will. That means of your own will, of your own choice, you can write a will or a testament which is broadly on the principles of the Sharia. It gives you a choice. But if I say, no, I want to give everything to my two daughters, I don't want to give anything to my son, you have the choice. So this is what the Uniform Civil Code is. And creating these kind of situations, it is the constitution makers who wrote it into the directive principles of the state policy. People like Babasaheb Ambedkar cannot be called people who didn't understand that the Indian constitution was secular. Merely because they didn't use it in the preamble very wisely. This was an injection in the 42nd Amendment. The word secular in the preamble, it has no place. The ethos of our constitution, which gives you freedom of thought, freedom of expression, freedom of religion, that is real secularism. The word secularism has unknown definitions. So these were people who knew what they were creating. They created a constitution with freedom of thought, freedom of expression, freedom of religion. Consistent with that, they said you must have a uniform civil code. But they deliberately put it as directive principle of state policy, because along with change in law, you need a change in mindsets. And they hoped over a period of time, mindsets would change. Now, whether the time is right or time is wrong is a political question. I don't want to get into that.
Last two questions to you. First one is that it is a fear that personal laws that are there in the country might get abolished, might get diminished in the Uniform Civil Code, and many believe it to be a threat to their religion.
That's what I'm saying. A personal law abolished, a personal law which is oppressive should be abolished. A personal law which doesn't give you a right to divorce in today's day and age should be abolished. A personal law which compels you to get rid of your, or to dispose of your estate in one particular way and not the other should be abolished. Because these are controlling free will of an individual through the means of a religion. I'm opposed to it.
Final question, what positive could come out with the Uniform Civil Code in the country?
So what I told you, all citizens of India will be equally empowered in all personal matters under a secular law, free to follow the dictate of their conscience, the dictate of their personal belief, and not the dictate of somebody else who is telling them what to do.
So this was the King's Counsel, the topmost legal mind of the country, Mr. Harish Salve, giving out his views on the Uniform Civil Code.